Hey, today I'm going to demonstrate a system that I came up for a storm window. This is in my basement. This is the completed window right here, right now. What I've done is it's 1/8 inch acrylic, 1 inch quarter round to hold it in. And we use some rubber gasket on the outside edge in between it. And it's screwed in so that you can remove it and take it back out and for the summer so you can open up the window. Last year I did have plastic on this window and you can still feel the cold coming off it. So the other side of the garage, I'd done this Lexan last year, and that side of the garage was actually warmer because there was no wind coming off. There was no cold air coming off the surface of the Lexan. Yes, I could just keep putting the plastic up every year, but the plastic only stops the drafts. It does not stop the cold, where Plexan and Lexan actually have an R factor of 2 or 3, I believe it is. So you definitely can find a difference by installing this, and this is usable year after year. You should get 10 or 15 years use out of this. And if you leave it in there, you never have to worry about it. You paint it over and nobody ever even knows it's there. We're going to go through the construction and show you everything, and you can make comments at the end. We're going to be installing a piece of 1/8 inch acrylic right here. And what basically I've done is I've gone and bought some 1/4 inch round, 1 inch 1/4 inch round. I bought 12-foot length, cut them in half at Lowe's so I could put them in the car because all my dimensions were less than 36 inches. So it worked out for me. It was much cheaper than buying the 8-foot parts and losing 2 feet. So basically I put the top bead in and the bottom bead in for the outside edge. And what I do is before I put it down and nail it in, I put a bead of caulking on the bottom edge so that way it'll be airtight and watertight. And what I've done is I've measured in 1 inch from the side over here to the back. So everything's consistent. Same thing up the top up here. I measured it 1 inch back. It's caulked up there. Now when I put the 2 side pieces in, I'll put caulking along this edge right in here. And when I'm done with the outside trim, I'll document the installation itself of the Lexan or acrylic sheet and the gasket that I use to make it airtight. Okay, back to this storm window that I'm doing for my garage casement window here, single pane. I've got the outside frame piece that we've already shown you. That's all in place. I'll get over to that in a minute. I have the piece of acrylic here laid out. I had it cut to 1/8 of an inch smaller than the opening at one of the big box stores. I actually went in with my own 4x4s that I bought online, cheaper than the stores, and they actually cut it down to size for me. If you don't have everything right, it's just impossible to cut without it chipping away and breaking. So I put the gasket on the edge right here, as you can see, and I've caddy cornered so it seals. Here's the material that I used right here. This is $10 worth, 20 feet. This will do you 2 windows of this size right here. Very compressible, as you can see. And that's what we want. We want to be able to just compress this down and seal the air out. I have the pieces, the outer edge that's going to hold it in all ready with screws so they can be removed, and you can take the Lexan out in the spring and open up the window and get your breeze back. Set everything aside and you can throw it back in. I'm going to install it and then I'll video at the end and show everything. I did want to go over the tools that I did use for the job one more time, just to be clear on everything. It was the 1/4 inch bead, which I already showed you. I used 1.5 inch finishing, 1 1/4 inch finish nails for the backside piece. And what you do is you have to drill it straight down. If you drill it at an angle, you're going to hit your window trying to hammer it. So I just did straight down. So that's what held that. And I used the heavy duty construction caulk on the bottom edge, and I sealed the corners, as you can see. So there's no air leakage around that right there, and the Lexan is plexiglass, whatever you're using, is going to press right up against it. We pre-drilled the holes for the nails because this corner bead is pretty fragile and you can split it just driving a thin nail through it. So we did use I don't know, I think it was a 16th or something smaller even to do a hole all the way through. For the screws, we used a 1/8 inch drill bit, and we bought 1.5 inch number 6 flathead wood screws. We're going to drive them in with a power tip, and that's basically all you really need. We finished the installation of the outer quarter rounds to hold in the Lexan, and like I showed you, we used the 1/2 inch screws so we can remove the quarter bead. And as you can see, we got a perfectly clear window now, nice and solid, and you can see how it's all compressed together right down there. There's no way air can get in there. Your outer pieces here can be a little bit shorter. They don't have to be as tight as the other side because you don't have to worry about the air coming through here. You can paint this now if you want, and like I say, you can undo the screws and you'll be all set to keep your house a little bit warmer. And this is fairly inexpensive. 2 windows of that strip is $10. The quarter bead 12 foot was $11, and so I needed 2 of those at 12 foot to do 1 window of this size. And the Plexi Lexan, whichever one you're using, 4x4 is usually about $30 to $50 depending upon where you're going. So at the low end, I spent about $50 on this window, which may sound expensive for a storm window which you want to take off all the time, but the one factor that people don't realize over plastic only stops wind. It has 0 R factor. Plexiglass and Lexan have a 2 to 3 R factor, and if you have an infrared gun, you can actually prove it to yourself by having 2 windows, one with this on it, one with plastic, which I did last year. I had plastic on this and Lexan on the other one. And when you put the infrared on, there was almost a 10-degree difference on the surface of the 2. So this definitely helps increase the R factor of the window and keeps more heat in your house. Hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, put them in the comment and I'll try to answer anything I can, but I think it's pretty much self-explanatory.